Hello and welcome to this season 3, I guess, of the podcast introductions. It's Smaugonite speaking, and today I'm going to go through our plans for 2024. So get comfortable, because here we go. Hello and welcome back to, I guess we're calling it season 3, maybe 2.5. This is Smaugonite speaking, and I'm so happy to be back in the studio recording. It has been far too long that we have not released anything related to the hobby through the podcast or the YouTube channel. This is going to be something that's starting something big, a shift in focus definitely for us here at the channel. We've got the team members, we've got Steady Painting, we've got Minion, and obviously myself, Smaugonite. We've got a lot of really cool things that are actually in development at the moment, but the trouble is just finding the time, finding the focus, actually being able to focus on the right things is actually life gets in the way, and a lot of people, I don't know if they know, a lot of people do know, but Steady Painting and I have actually just brought our first little child into the world. He's called Little Opal. We're calling him Opal. That's his little nickname at the moment. But he obviously takes up a lot of time. Babies take up a lot of time, and reflecting on that, we've sort of thought, well, actually, what sort of content is it that we want to do? What sort of content do we want to make for the channel, and how are we going to sort of have that creative flair and that creative output for things on the YouTube channel or on the podcast? And it got us to talking. Actually, we went on a walk. We're sort of looking at moving house as well, and we've been going on a walk in the local area for this new property, and we've sort of had a look at what would we want to spend our time on, and there are many things. So Steady Painting's very keen to get her Eldar finished. I've actually been helping her a little bit with that. She wants to get her Yggdrasil Eldar stuff finished, so she's got a fully playable army, because we are wanting to do some videos and some battle reports. It's feedback from the Instagram community that we're part of has been they would like to see videos and battle reports and stuff. Now, given that we're going to be moving house, that's something that might have to wait until the house move, until the new studio's set up. At the moment, we've come up with the name The Nudio for the new studio, but I don't know if that will stick. So we are looking for name suggestions. The Jarl has already given us some ideas, but I want to hear what you think. Drop a comment down below, or message us via Instagram or via the website. Give us some ideas what we could call this new studio, because I don't think the Nudio is going to stick around for too long as a name. But yeah, so the battle reports might have to wait until we are back in the new property. One thing that we have discussed is we've discussed about, firstly, a Tale of Gamers for any system, particularly mainly 40k, I guess. As people know, we play 7th edition 40k. We don't play 10th edition or any other edition. It's 7th edition for us. That's purely based on the fact that a lot of us enjoyed 7th edition. We know it was broken, but we sort of had an agreement at the time where if you took broken lists, you took broken lists together, but other than that, you didn't really abuse it without your opponent sort of agreeing. And it's a rule set that's sort of stuck around in the form of Heresy 2.0, so there's something there for it to be a good game system. But we've looked at a Tale of Gamers, sort of building up 500 points a month. That was something that sort of got put to the side purely because, again, babies take up a lot of time, house move takes up a lot of time, obviously we've still got our day jobs that take up a lot of time, and it was something that we decided we would do when we're in a bit of a better time situation where we've got the time to be able to appreciate and do a Tale of Gamers. Another thing that's been discussed is a Battle Company's Tale of Gamers, which is a little bit more achievable purely because we've already got the models. We just haven't painted them. So we're thinking of maybe doing a Middle-earth Battle Companies later in the year. Obviously, Steady Painting would do her Minas Tirith and her Gondor stuff, and I would do Hobbits or Isengard, purely because I've got those two armies set up that I just need to paint. I actually, fun story, had an incident a couple of weeks ago where I was moving some stuff around and I accidentally dropped the Hobbit box, which resulted in a lot of Hobbits, a lot of casualties in the Hobbit, in the Shire, which wasn't great. I felt the pain of opening the box and looking in and seeing all the broken stuff, so I need to actually get around to sorting that. So that was another thought, the Battle Companies. Minion and I also talked about the role-playing side of things, which is a big interest in mine at the moment. I've played one game of Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't played any more because I just didn't have the time for it. But I remember I really enjoyed the game that we played. So Minion and I talked about the Cubicle 7 Imperium Maledictum, and we talked about whether or not that was something that we would be interested in playing together. Now, we said yes at the time. I then bought the rulebook and a Game Master screen and dice for everybody, so for Steady Painting, for Minion and for myself, and we've still not played it. This was sort of 5-6 months ago that I bought this book, and we've still not touched it. Now, talking with Steady Painting, we've actually decided that we might just try, me being the GM and her being the adventurer, as it were. So that's something that I think will actually gain traction. It'll be something that we'll be looking at putting out hopefully sometime soon, on the YouTube channel and on the podcast. We think that we'd probably focus more on the YouTube stuff. Obviously podcasts are quite nice for people just to listen, and I think I will still release the audio file as a podcast, but I think I'll probably put it on the YouTube channel first, or with a heavier focus on putting it on YouTube and sort of putting pictures in, or putting a bit more of like an entertainment side of things, whether or not we video ourselves talking through it. My friends at the Tabletop Tactics, that team, they've got obviously their Dungeons and Dragons stuff where they video themselves. Obviously I don't have a studio set up like they do. I do have a studio, just not set up in that style. So if I do that, it will be something, again, perhaps with the house move, that might be when we start filming ourselves, but in the meantime we might just release it where Steady Painting and I just talk and roll dice and show you pictures of what's going on, or sort of drawings and sketches that I put together as GM. Again, let us know if that's something you're interested in, definitely, please, because if I know people are interested and the interest there, I will make a beeline for getting that stuff created for people, because I know when I'm sort of painting and driving or doing any long distance driving, I love listening to podcasts and to different different hobby accounts, whether it's the Heresy podcast or, that's why I stumbled there and said heresy. It was something that was on the mind. But yeah, so we've got a lot of things going on. Another thing is actually Minion and I are arranging a 10,000 point 7th edition 40k game for around Christmas in 2024. That is going to probably be Mech versus Eldar, and the reason for that is because he has done a lot of focus on his mech, which I am immensely proud of for him. He's done an absolutely fantastic job of getting mech done over the past 6 to 10 months. He's really surprised me. He's really surprised me that he's put his mind to it, almost. It's not like oh yeah, I'll get round to it. It's like he's actually given himself the discipline and the time to get hobby done, which as I say, and I don't know if he's actually listening, but if he's listening, drop me a message right now that says something unique. I don't know, that says, in fact, I've got the book, The Damnation of Pythos, right next to me. So Minion, if you're listening to this, which you should be as a team member of Strategic Painting, text me right now saying The Damnation of Pythos. That's a little Easter egg there to check that you are listening all the way through this episode. But yeah, so we've got the 10k game at the end of the year, which I can't wait for. My Eldar stuff is more or less done. I have 12 Wraith Knights, so I'll just take all of them and some Titans and just pray. Well, not that I'll need to pray. I think the mech will need to pray. Well, I might surprise him, actually. I might take Titans. That might be more fun. Let's do a Titan March again, because the Titan Owners Club, they do Titan Marches. I'm not part of that. I've got obviously my own Titans. I just never got them signed up, and then now I've got too many that I just don't have the time or energy to fill out their forms to get them registered. So I'll do my own Titan March. Another thing that I am excited about is I got the Kill Team box with the Night Lords in, and I was really excited about how those models look. Obviously the Mandrakes for the Dark Eldar is something that I've always wanted in plastic as well, so it was a must buy for me. And with the Night Lords paint, because they've done Night Lords blue now as a base paint, which I did not have the first time I did my Night Lords, it means now I can focus on an army, a traitor army, which I'm so passionate about. Prince of Crows, Night Lords trilogy, they are books that stand out in my collection of, it's where my love for the Night Lords came from. And I'll never forget a game of first edition Heresy that I had with a guy. In fact, I think Minion was definitely there. I can't remember if he was playing, but I know that Conrad Kurz charged a Leviathan, I think, or maybe he was charged by a Leviathan, but he ended up in combat with a Leviathan in Heresy 1, and for whatever reason, I think his strength, he couldn't hurt the Leviathan, but also with the stubborn special rule, it meant that he couldn't say our weapons are useless and flee the combat, so he just was stuck. I lost my Primarch to this Leviathan that was an Alpha Legion Leviathan. I don't know if that makes much difference, whether or not it had any special rules or something, but yeah, I lost my Primarch just for this this combat that he ended up in. But that, just a side note, that was a bit of a side story, but that's what this hobby's all about, isn't it, really? It's about those stories and those moments that you're using your painted toys and you're making a narrative, you're making a story, which is exactly what I want to focus on here at Strategic Painting. We are looking at what campaigns can we do and what stories can we develop, and it was one thing that we sort of tried to do when I sort of did the almost role-play game where Minion and Steady Painting had their own Marine each, and I sort of just made it into like a little trial for them. Minion had a Death Guard, Steady Painting had an Alpha Legion, and I just made it into like a little game where, you wake up in this cell, what do you do? And just let them talk it through, so almost like an intro to a role-playing game. But yeah, that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on campaign stuff with narrative-driven content, and we're going to be looking at releasing YouTube videos. Whether or not they have us on it or not is as yet undecided, but it's definitely something that we're going to keep in mind. I don't think there's anything else to update. Old World. Of course there is. Old World is definitely something to talk about. Now, I never played Warhammer Fantasy when it was out. I always watched games and I was always interested in games, but I never actually played it myself. And it was something that I thought, when Old World came out, I would look at it. And I have. I got a Tomb King's army. I then built up an ogre army. All of this is unpainted so far, and talked with Minion. He wants a dwarf army when they drop, because they, at the time of recording, haven't been released yet. And Jarl also was looking at getting rid of something, his whole Warriors of Chaos army. So I purchased a fully painted Warriors of Chaos army, which I've rebased onto squares, and it looks phenomenal. It's one of those that I don't really have to touch up. There's odd things that I'm going to want to touch up just because I want to make it a bit more sort of my own, but at the moment, for the first few games, perhaps for the first year, I won't be touching anything up because it looks sublime. I'm just basing the bases, the square bases, the rectangles and stuff, just basing them. At the moment, that's sort of a side project for what I'm working on. But yeah, so we've got Old World as well, which again is something we're looking at. We've got that to look forward to. I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. Yeah, Middle Earth strategy battle game. We've got Old World. We've got 7th edition. Multiple armies for 7th edition. We've got Mech, Orcs, Dark Eldar, Night Lords, Harlequins. All of these still to do. Still to focus on. But again, little Opal. It's just finding the time around you. We wanna do hobby, but at the same time, babies are more important than painting some plastic toys. So that's pretty much it. I think that's a good intro, and I'll sort of look to leave it here, but that's a good intro for what we're planning on doing for the rest of the year. Sorry that we have been so quiet on the podcast and YouTube. Hopefully this brings in new people, and if that does, if you are a new person to our channel, please like, subscribe, comment. Even if it's just to have a chat, we are more than open to having a discussion and a chat and getting interested in sort of creating this content for you. So please let us know what you would like to see, and we shall do it. Like they say, your wish, our command, kind of thing. But essentially, we're on for a really cool rest of the year. So I think that's everything. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Bye bye.